Week's edition of Between the Lines program on ZAMCOM Radio 100.1 FM. And today I'm talking to Manson Mutumba Muka on his book entitled Operation White Elephant. Welcome to this interview, Manson.
Thank you very much, Katriana. It's good to be here. I believe I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right?
Yeah, it's all right, Catriona.
Catriona. Yes. Beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you so much. It's actually Catherine, but the Irish form for Catherine.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
Okay. So as we begin our interaction, Manson, to begin with, just tell us about your family and educational background. Who is Manson Mutumba Muka?
Yeah, so I was born in a family of 8.
Okay.
I'm the third born. 2 of my younger siblings died at early stages in their lives.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, so we are now 6.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was born in Mississippi compound. Then after that,
right here in Lusaka.
Right here in Lusaka, yes,
Okay.
Mississippi compound, right here in Lusaka.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved to Kaunda Square. Growing up, we used to move a lot because of renting. My parents were renting, so we used to move a lot. And over my childhood, I have so many friends from different parts of Lusaka, and each of these places is at a different stage in my life. So most of these people relate to me differently. So when we go to Kaunda Square, people there, they relate to me differently. Some of them will even call me a different name. Like in Kaunda Square, most people called me, they call me Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
Cabo, yeah, that's a name that is synonymous to me. I'm also a family man, married man, father of 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
That's nice.
Yes. And my educational background, I've only gone to 3 schools my entire life. So from grade 1 to grade 9, I was at Kaunda Square Primary School.
Okay.
Then from grade 10 to grade 12, I was at Munali Boys High School. And then in my university, I was fortunate enough to travel overseas. I went to a university in Canada called St. Mary's University, one of the best universities in Canada, actually. I recommend people who are looking for overseas learning experiences to put St. Mary's University in their consideration.
How did you find yourself at St. Mary's in Canada?
It's actually a long story. So I have some family that is based there. I have an aunt, I have cousins that had traveled there in the 80s early on. So immediately after my grade 12, family in Zambia, along with family abroad also, they recognized me. I guess I was one of the lucky ones in my nuclear family who was recognized, and they supported me to actually go study that side.
Okay.
Yeah, and while I was there, I was full-time in school, full-time working, so self-sponsored. I was a sponsored student.
Okay.
And
what were you studying?
I majored in economics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
like my daughter.
yes. But also, I also mentioned that I also engaged in self-guided learning in the field of theoretical physics and programming languages, Java programming. So I'm a big fan of the field of cybersecurity. My first book actually is based on a cybersecurity fictional scenario, which is quite compelling as Operation White Elephant.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds very interesting, and I can see you are a big machine in your mind there just by the things that you have learned. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So how did you find yourself, getting into writing, Manson, having studied economics and the other courses that you have mentioned? How did you find yourself writing books?
So the interesting journey of my writing started not exactly with writing, but storytelling with movies. My dad used to work at Plaza One Cinema. So as a kid, usually on the weekends, he would take me with him to Plaza One Cinema, and I would spend the whole day watching the movies that were showing. And I got so intrigued by the storytelling aspect of movies, and also, the storytelling experiences that we used to get as kids from our grandparents,
Yeah.
the folk tales and so on. So initially, I still have a passion and a dream for for producing movies and so on. So
Okay.
I figured, anyway, fast forward into the future, I started hanging out with friends. I have one friend in particular in Kaunda Square who came from a home where they used to read a lot.
Okay.
And he lent me this book titled Born Identity. So there's also a movie. I've actually shared this story before at another media institution. Yeah. So when I had seen the movie earlier, and then when I read the novel, I could see the parallels and the connections there. So that's when I realized that for me to actually enhance my odds in movie production, I needed to write, because everything starts with writing. So that's how I started writing as a way of keeping my dream alive. And friends from the community, they would read what I would write, and the response was very, very encouraging. And soon I was writing long content stories, and soon I established myself as a novel writer. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. A novel writing, Manson Mutumba Muka is. So you've mentioned you've already written, your first book, and today we are highlighting a book, that you have published entitled Operation White Elephant. So how did you come up, with this book, and what inspired you to write this book?
So the plot, it's interesting. The plot, I actually dreamt of it.
Okay.
I dream a lot about, when I'm asleep, I dream a lot about novel plots, movie plots, and so on.
Really?
So I actually, so I dreamt of
gift.
it. It's a gift, and so I believe there's that divine touch to my writing journey. So I dreamt of it, but the plot was a little bit more controversial.
Okay.
I was going to write about Bank of Zambia and illicit financial flows. So this was in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, and the illicit financial flows that were potentially happening, which manifested evidently, through the way cadres were even throwing around money and so on. So I was going to take the book in that direction, but at that time I was a little bit cautious. I was afraid that maybe I might actually get into some collisions with, the political cadres, whatever, and all that stuff. So I adapted the plot to still talk about, corruption in the country and illicit financial flows. And one of the reasons that made me write the book is because I really wanted to give people some kind of context and logic to the depth of corruption and how it works. Most people, they think of it just, bribing a traffic police officer or bribing a school head teacher to get a child into school. But it can actually be so convoluted and so complex. There are so many reports out there about huge sums of money, billions of dollars that go missing from our economy. So most people have this question: how is it that law enforcement officers are unable to close that gap? How does it happen? So using my analytical skills, I'm educated, of course, I did observe some gaps in our system that would actually make financial criminals, to be able to use these gaps in our system to, siphon money out of the economy. As, the former U.S. ambassadors mentioned, 10% of our GDP is in illicit financial flows. So when I wrote the book in 2019, in 2020 it was nominated for a Best Creative Writing National Award.
Really?
Yeah, and in 2023 and 2025, we started noticing some parallels between the publication reports that were being made by the Financial Intelligence Committee, the FIC. Yeah, so we started noticing some parallels with what they were observing and what I had written in my book.
Okay.
And that's when
Wow.
an organization called the Library Development Foundation that I'm a part of, they decided to engage the Authorship Career Network to have the book traditionally published and give it a new brand and so on. Yes, yes.
Okay, very interesting. So we started from the plot. And then now we are on Operation White Elephant.
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes.
So tell us what Operation White Elephant is all about.
All right. So I think I will just read the short synopsis for you. So the book synopsis says, an underground syndicate operates under the layers of registered businesses. Law enforcement officers nickname it the White Elephant because of its convoluted registration structure that makes it impossible to pin down individuals running it. Tarsila Chungu, a Financial Investigations Bureau, FIB, analyst, detects an illegal transaction between two companies. She pushes the case further to get information and winds up in the loop of the syndicate's operation networks. Her superiors order her to shut the case down, but Tarsila presses on secretly until an operative from IMF and a Zambia army captain team up with her to close the case. Together, the trio collide with not just the syndicate, but also law enforcement bureaucrats who question their rogue investigation and the inadmissibility of the evidence they gather.
Okay, so just by listening to that, it sounds intriguing and it sounds like a must read,
Yes.
and very captivating there. And I can see your creative writing skills, at work there. So how long did it take you to write such a lovely creative book?
So the brainstorm writing is it involves diverse processes. There's the process where you brainstorm, you think about the idea, it grows in your mind, and the time when you actually start writing. So the time when I actually started writing took me 6 weeks for me to complete this 230-something pages book.
Okay,
yes,
because you already had the ideas.
So I already
had the idea. You already knew what you wanted to write about, so it was just a matter of implementing now the actual writing.
Yes. So in as far as the brainstorming and the analytical aspect of writing the book, I think it took me roughly a month, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, about a month or so. So the entire process, I would just say, took 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, of course, with divine inspiration.
Of course, with the divine touch from God Almighty. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay, lovely. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So has your family supported you in your book writing? Of course, your wife and then also other brothers, sisters. Have they supported you?
So at the time when I was writing this book in 2019, I was not yet married.
Okay.
Yes. So family, yes, they've been supportive remotely. I wouldn't really say directly in the writing process. At that stage of my life, I was sort of like in my own world. I wasn't really giving much updates to my family about my activities and so on.
Okay.
But my family, yes, they've been very, very supportive. I remember when I was going to the nominations when the book was nominated and I was going to the nominations award, a cousin of mine actually sent me a token, some money, a cousin in Canada, Eddie Mumba. He sent me some money to, get myself a nice outfit, to be able to hire a yango and so on. So, family has really been very supportive. And as I mentioned, even before I started receiving recognition as an author, as a writer, family, they would read my manuscripts, my short stories, and they would give me that positive encouragement. I'll also mention that friends as well. I have so many friends that have been supportive. There's one friend of mine called Frank Mwenda. I was actually living with him at the time when I was writing this book, and we would engage in conversations and on how this book was going to make an impact in Zambia. And so the support has really been very, very tremendous for me. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So when we look at your book, Operation White Elephant, when was it released?
So the first edition was published in 2019, December 31st. So New Year's Eve getting into 2020.
Okay.
Then 2025, like I mentioned, after observing the similarities with the FIC reports and the analysis, even though this book is fiction, the analysis that was applied is real life.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 2025, the book was republished under the Authorship Career Network. They gave it a new cover and edited the work. Hopefully, if they had come in earlier in 2020 when the book was nominated, I could have won the award. So
okay.
Yes.
All right. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Manson Mutumba Muka on his book entitled Operation White Elephant, and this is Between the Lines program on ZAMCOM Radio with your presenter Catriona Chisompola. Now, you have mentioned, of course, that your book is fiction, and you read a little synopsis of the book. But what are the major, highlights, of the book? What issues have you highlighted in this fiction book?
So, referencing the synopsis, you heard how this character, Tasila Chungu, she observed an illegal transaction between two companies. And when she tried to pursue the matter further, her superiors ordered her to stop her investigation. My analysis is that a lot of law enforcement officers have these thin lines where they are limited in how intense or how much they can be able to pursue, especially government official related corruption cases or illegal financial flow cases. So that is one of the highlights, and it also emphasized the need for law enforcement officers to be given that freedom, that autonomy for them to be able to build cases, regardless of the political affiliations the implicated people have. I'll give an example. I even did an article on how executive privileges somehow limit law enforcement officers from engaging, from extensively engaging in investigations and apprehend the culprits in real time. It is usually after a change of government that we start to see people from old regimes being interrogated and so on. So there is need for a reform with regards to law enforcement so that law enforcement officers are able to pursue, even if it is someone that is connected to the president, even if it is someone that they need to have that authority to override executive privilege until that person is cleared, then that's when they can let them go. And if not, that person has to be prosecuted regardless of their proximity to executive corridors. So another highlight is, I mentioned the character here, the Zambia Army captain. Yes, the Zambia Army captain. So, one thing that has really been consistent with authority, with regards to authority and respect and the rule of law, is our military. It has been very, very consistent in, carrying itself with that respect, carrying itself with that decorum that commands respect from the public. So, introducing a character from the Zambia Army into the plot sort of like symbolizes that the military is also concerned with the national issues of illicit financial flows, because these financial flows, they affect or they pose national security risks, especially with regards to illegal drugs coming in from different parts of the world, human trafficking, and so on. And the book does portray some aspect of how illicit financial flows are actually tied to illegal activities that extend beyond conventional law enforcement systems to contain them. So there's that need even for the Zambia Army. They keep our borders safe, and so on. So another highlight, of course, bringing in the IMF character. As Zambia, we do have our sovereignty, but much of our financial dynamics are modeled in consideration with, IMF consultations, with IMF considerations, and so on. So, yeah, that's one of the highlights, introducing the IMF character. And also, the financial flows are also, illicit financial flows are also tied to violence. So there's some violence in this book. There's some action, not very graphic though. It's like a movie. So when you are actually sitting reading the book, there's that movie-like watching experience that a reader gets. There's action, there's some drama, and so on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, one thing I've also noticed, excuse my cough.
No problem.
Is that sometimes when there are these cases, you'll find there are even hidden people in the cases.
Yes.
Because it's a syndicate. So no wonder you find people don't want investigations to be done.
Yes.
Because they're afraid of the people who will be exposed.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so could you kindly share with the listeners, some of the issues, some of the experiences from the readers? What have they said about your book?
So the response from the readers has really been so profound. I'll mention one reader in particular, Mr. Frederick Musonda. He is a former finance guy. He really appreciated the way the book was written. I published his long review on my author page, where he talked about how the book actually was foretelling the ZAMSA scandal, that happened with regards to the missing medicines and all that. So those are some of the comments that I've been getting from the readers. Some of them have highlighted that as they read the book, it's like they are watching a movie, which, warms my heart and keeps my dream of producing a movie one day alive.
Okay.
There's a film production company in Canada that came across the book, and they had me adapt the book into a manuscript.
Okay.
I have adapted the book into a manuscript, into a screenplay. Yeah. So I wrote the entire screenplay, and I gave it to them, and they are trying to source for funds to actually produce the movie of the book. So those are some of the responses that I've gotten from the readers.
Okay, that's
Yes.
very encouraging and very inspiring that, your book will be translated into a movie, which has been your dream.
Yes.
Okay. So then, where can people, find your books, especially even this one?
So mostly people reach out to me directly to purchase the books, but Operation White Elephant can be purchased directly from the publisher as well. The publisher is based on Cairo Road on the 9th floor of Indeco House. The office. The office, I've forgotten the office number, but the name, they'll just see the banner when they get to the 9th floor, Authorship Career Network, so they can purchase the book directly from there. People can go to my page, Manson Mutumba, Facebook page. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and they can shoot me an inbox. I can always guide them as to where they can get the book from. I've had some challenges getting the book shelved in local bookstores because of prices. Yeah, if I take this book, it's currently being sold at $250.
Then they'll get 30%.
And at $250 they'll get 30%. It doesn't even cover the costs of printing, so it creates that dilemma. So I've mostly been selling the books myself directly. I'm easy to approach. Anybody that is interested in the book, there are also always means of making the book also be delivered via the long distance vehicles and so on.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's a challenge that we're having as authors, when it comes to selling books in these bookstores, the percentage issue, because like you are saying, 30%, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So meaning you only remain with little compared to the cost you've put into the publishing of the book.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your words of advice to anybody who would want to be a writer?
That's a very interesting question. Lately, I've been involved in various discussions over AI. Mm-hmm. I know that it's a big thing right now,
and most people are using it.
It has brought some convenience to a lot of people. I will not downplay those conveniences, but I'll give an example. A person like myself going to use AI is like a downgrade. And there are people.
It downplays your mentality, your mental capacity.
Yeah. My works, my written works, whether it's articles or AI can't build that. And as I've mentioned, I'm a programmer myself, a beginner. Of course, I'm not really sophisticated.
Yeah.
I know the limitations of AI. So those who are unable to, who have not yet mastered their writing skills, they can still, use AI to sharpen their writing skills. But at some point, they have to wean themselves off that technology and develop the skill. I'll give an example. Supercars like Ferrari, Bugatti, those cars are handmade. Every nut, every bolt, and everything is handmade. It's not done by machines. And then, these other vehicle brands, I won't name any, these other vehicle brands, they are mass produced using machines. And you can see now the differences in price and quality and vehicle performances. When you are driving a Ferrari compared to these mass produced vehicles, it's a different experience altogether. I had the experience of driving an Aston Martin, so I know what it's like, when I was in Toronto. So I know what it's like compared to driving all these other cars. So it's about the experience the reader gets, because some readers are very, very sensitive to written works, and they are able to detect if a a book was published using AI.
Yeah.
So emerging authors really need to look out for that, because it may damage their credibility even before their journey as an author starts. So whoever is using AI, they should put on their cover that, oh, this book was written using AI.
Yeah.
That way they protect their credibility in the future when they sharpen their skills and they are able to write without using AI. So that's my number one advice. Number two advice, being a writer in Zambia can be very, it can be very lonely. You know, you don't see money flowing your way, reflecting your potential or the work that you put into it. But I encourage every aspiring writer out there, or somebody that is experiencing such kind of limitations, to just continue, you know, pursuing their passion. You know, there has to be a passion that drives you to write. Without that passion, it becomes very, very difficult to stay consistent or to deliver quality books that are appreciated by the readers. Number three, you know, validation, yes, it's important. It's nice to be recognized for works. In Zambia, the book industry is yet to be developed, so very few authors are getting recognized. You may be one of the authors. I'm speaking to the readers now out there, the emerging writers out there. You may be one of those writers that don't get recognized as much as you would like to, but you just have to continue even without anybody telling you that your work is good, your work is powerful. You never know. Out of just being consistent with your writing, you may end up writing a masterpiece that can be picked up maybe even by a powerful Hollywood producer, and they would be like, you know what, let's adapt this written piece of work into a movie, and that can turn into a memorable experience. I'll give the example of that Cape Verde goalkeeper. For those who are following the World Cup right now, yes, you know, those are some of the experiences. That guy was not known. He had like 40,000 followers on his Instagram page, and just one night of that performance against Spain, just that one night, 10 million Instagram followers. So that's what consistency does. Your Maps as well, you know, is someone who has a long background of hard work and consistency and not getting that recognition until a time just came when he met Mark II. I don't know exactly how the story happened, and here he is. He's now a big star. He's flying all over the world. He's featuring people like Omarion and so on. So consistency never fails. So even in times or seasons when we are not getting validated, when we are not getting recognized for our works, we still have to continue with our passion to write and to write impactful works.
Okay.
Yes.
I like the points that you brought out. You know, one especially like on AI, because it's very easy to tell that these thoughts are not the writer's thoughts.
Yeah.
And I would rather write a book, you know, coming from my own thoughts, because my feelings, my emotions are attached to that book, and someone can tell that this person is writing from their heart.
Yeah.
So just like Manson has said, if you're writing a book using AI, it's important that you actually include the aspect that this book is AI generated, so that we are not lied to.
Indeed.
Yeah. And then I also like the fact that you brought in the aspect of consistency, because it's true, sometimes you can be consistent in something and you feel like you're not being recognized, but it can take just one moment and your life can change. Somebody can recognize that consistency. So as we are coming towards the end of this interview, Manson, what would be your concluding remarks?
So I have a lot to say, and yet my tongue is heavy. I'll just say that, you know,
say what you need to say, no problem, you have the time.
Our policymakers out there, they really need to start reaching out to authors, researchers. This book, as I've mentioned, when FIC was publishing their reports, that's 2023, 4 years, 6 years after this book was written. The similarities are quite profound, so with regards to national issues, if the dialogue and the collaboration between policymakers and people in the author sector or in other various sectors can be established, I think we can achieve massive results. I'll give an example. My education is not really specialized. So even at the time when I was engaging in self-guided learning practices in theoretical physics and in programming languages, some of my university mates would get concerned, because I would pick electives that when you're doing a university program, there's usually those courses that you add into that you select to give you to be credited the hours. So they noticed that I was picking these topics, physics courses that an economics major does not go for. So they would even get concerned, but these are some of the things that have helped me. And this shows that the fields and the knowledge fields are interrelated. Yeah, that interrelation should be harnessed in the sense of collaboration. So even FIC, if they were even to reach out to me, the Drug Enforcement Agency, if they were to reach out to me, Bank of Zambia, who knows, maybe it could translate into something that can, solve an existing issue in the country that has really been hard to solve. Yeah. So I think those are my final remarks. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. I know I wish you could go on and on, but like you're saying, some issues are controversial, but I've learned a lot from you.
Okay.
And I'll ask a lot off the mic.
Wonderful.
Yes.